you would think that I would have gotten the battery for my little clicker here so I don't have to keep reaching over. And I don't get out much. Hello, hello. My little crystals wanted to be here today. I'm sure many of you just have a gazillion crystals and love them, but my heart ones wanted to come here today. And look at this beautiful crystal with all those blues. It reminds me of the ocean when you're in the tropics. And it's a beauty. And I put out a shout to Jeff and Kim Brochu and how they sell crystals. And this was one of theirs. And I believe so was this. And you'll notice I buy a lot of heart-shaped ones. The heart is my favorite place to live. And I love the heart ones and what they represent. So when you're here having a reading, you may see me pick them up and roll them in my fingers. And no matter how small they are, or this one I love. This was one that was cut into a heart. And this is the Mary Magdalene one. It holds a lot of frequencies and vibration, and you'll see a lot of inclusions. You can't see it really from here, but there's a lot of inclusions there. So this one has really good built-up energy. It's also been one of the ones that has traveled with me when I was traveling to sacred sites and everything. It's gone into the Great Pyramid. It's gone into the Dead Sea. It's gone into some amazing places that hold the frequencies in those locations. Sedona and some of the sacred medicine wheels and places, and it charges it up. And it is reminding me that now we are the crystals. We know we hold this crystalline energy, and so the water in our bodies and everything in our cells holds this. So we don't really have to lug all the crystals to every sacred site or to ceremonies, because if we're there in person, we are the crystal. We're storing all the energy and information. So this is a very, very positive, powerful thing to do. But this is my one that's my go-to that I take to all the places just because it's small and I can stick it in my pocket. And on the times when I'm tired and I don't feel like I'm holding that energy anymore, I can take this and meditate with it or whatever. And isn't it true that everything's the inner and the outer? So the micro and macrocosm. Geez, can't talk. When I feel like I don't have it in here anymore, this is a reminder to reset. Okay, so you might love to play with crystals and don't forget to cleanse them and charge them up. They love either, depending on what your go-to is, the sunlight or the moonlight. I do both. When there's cycles going on, moon cycles, or there's eclipses, they all get lugged outside to bathe in that energy. And what it does also is it cleanses them, right? Being a Virgo, I also wash my crystals. Stick them in the sink. And when you see me doing those kind of cleansing rituals at certain times of the year, I'm lugging my big ones that are this big. And it's funny because on trips I found some of these, and when you could do this, I would lug them on the plane with me back. I have hand-carried ones from Oregon, Northern California, that were this big on my lap, bringing them back. So it's interesting. Donna, you'd remember that. You've been on most of those journeys. So anyways, enough about that. There was something else. Oh, yes. I felt like there was a message coming through today. So before I go to the cards, I'm going to see what is trying to come through for today. This is a time for great change. Everything you heard about, read about, dreamed about is ready to come into fruition. Now, many of you would ask, which ones? Are these the negative or are these the positive dreams for the future? We bring this to you and we ask you to decide, as you are the creators of this dream. Many things will come to pass, and depending on what timeline you're following and what scenario you are following, things will fall into place one way or another. This is a time where we ask you to follow the path of your own individual soul. For as you've been told before, each one of you has a different path. It may be just a slight difference, but no two people have the same path. Yes, we understand this is hard for you to understand, as there are so many people in the world. But this is the truth, dear ones. There is something slightly different with each of you and your path. It is a time to take a risk and to dare to be different, to be part of the pulling away of the bigger agenda and looking at what feels right to you and following that from deep within your soul. The calling you have been given, the frequency you have been given to stay on track, on task for you. As you take these so-called risks, as you move forward in the future, you will stretch yourself to be more than you could be or would be if you stayed in the place that you're at. By taking a risk, this could be exactly what is needed to make a change in the bigger picture for all. Opportunities and choice points will come to you. As they come to you, we say, sit with it, but please do not sit too long, as those opportunities may be gone in an instant or a blink of an eye. We no longer have time to wait for someone to make up their mind. These opportunities will come in quick, and if you say no to them, or better yet, do not respond to them while you're thinking for too long, someone else will be able to pick up that piece. There are many ways that this has happened throughout history and these times. If you are being guided to write a book about something and you do not do it, someone else will in their own way. It is a time where everyone needs to make up their mind which side of the fence they're on and what they're willing to give, do, have, or be in order to, we don't want to say defend, but to be in a place of alignment of their frequency and what they choose to do. Please know you are surrounded with armies of angels and great beings of light as we come into this last segment of the play you're in. Keep the faith, as you would say. Hold your frequency and your light and grow, my friends. Grow into who you were meant to be. Do not stay stuck in the smallness of what's comfortable for you at this time. One way or another, you will be guided or pushed into what the next piece is for you. Those of you that have done your work and have been really moving beyond what has been for you and what will be will come into place. Let go of the dramas, let go of the old scenarios you continue to play out with different people or different situations because you're used to it, and grow as you move forward in the days ahead, as we will support you with this in every way possible. All you need to do is say you're on board. We love you and we thank you for your time. Interesting. So I guess this is a time for us to keep it moving. All right. Speaking of keeping it moving, Gabby Bernstein's cards for this last Sunday in April and the week beyond. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. Well, isn't that the truth of what was just said? We think we're doing so much and there's still more to do, stretching. And it's interesting because to me, this card looks like a dandelion and all the little different puffballs on it. And when we blow on it, some blow away. And when they do, they seed another place. And some stay on the flower, whatever you want to call it, plant. So I think that's what this is about. As we blow on that dandelion, those seeds go in other places to be planted as we take a risk. These are the rose deck, or this is the rose deck. I'm going to pull two want to come from this deck for this week. The shadow. So what keeps us from growing? What are we afraid of? What keeps us from growing? What keeps us from digging up some of our old stuff to look at? Are we afraid? Do we not want to go there anymore? The shadow. And we have to embrace the shadow. And we may be afraid to do that, but think of it. When a child is afraid to do something, do we scream and yell if they have to jump over something? That we're out on a brook and they have to go midair to land on another rock, are we going to scream and yell at them? No. We appreciate that they're afraid and we encourage them to grow. Your magic tools. Look at this. Your magic tools. So it reminds me of Merlin, only it's a female on here that looks like she's Oriental. And she, maybe Kuan Yin, she's holding a lantern for all to see. And there's sacred geometry on here. There's a lot to look at. The stars. So she's, oh, isn't it funny? And there, you won't be able to see it because it's small. But she's lighting up a heart shape. And isn't it funny? I was guided to bring out the hearts. So she's lighting up things. So this is a reminder for us to use all the tools we have to grow, to change, to move forward in the days ahead. Use the tools with the shadow side and see what's possible. This is the Enchanted Map Oracle from Colette. Coming apart. So as I look at this, there's two faces, right? They're masks or whatever. There's two faces. There's two angels looking in different directions, coming apart. Sometimes when things look like they're coming apart, they're actually coming together. But because we don't see the end result, we only see the trauma and the drama and all of that that people are going through. And what this reminds me of is right now, what all of us are going through. And the coming apart says that we can no longer move forward with things being the way they are, with the negativity down here and all the control and power issues. So as we move towards creating a new place, a new earth, Ben, don't start your barking. This is a time for us to remember that sometimes what it looks like is not what it appears to be. There's something awaits on the other side. It says, the coming apart card is assigned to put an end to what is no longer working for you. Now is the time to take separate paths. Has a commitment been broken? Perhaps you need to break a promise or change course because you are not on the right road. This is a perfect time to reassess your goals and values. Are your actions in alignment with what you believe in? Have you created a partnership that is not mutually beneficial? Separation, disillusion, and desperation are all in focus now. If someone wishes to break away from you, don't chase the relationship out of a sense of fear. The price you'll pay will not be worth the prize. Separation brings good fortune. Okay? So this feels that this is really, really important. And going along with the message that came through is moving forward. It may look like you're pulling away from your old life or an old job or an old relationship, but something greater is coming. Angel answers. I want to pull two of these as well. Romance. And yes, we get romance and a big yes. So romance is pretty self-explanatory. Those of you that are looking for love in all the right places. But I also see romance is how can we be kinder to ourselves? How can we almost like if we were in a relationship, what would we do if we were in a good place to help the other person? It's almost like I want to take that to the shadow side too. How can you be kind to that one? And then you got a big affirming yes. We didn't ask a question, but this would kind of guide us that we're moving in the right direction. And the last one is from the Divine Feminine deck. One goddess to move us through this last Sunday in February and beyond. The Princess of Mercy. Giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. It's a Asian goddess here. And she has this beautiful tiger with her. And she's holding a crystal. And it's Miao Shan. I think that's how you say her name. Beautiful. I'm going to read you that one. All right. When your soul selects her card, the author, Sue Monk Kidd, articulates the process of empathy so clearly when she writes, empathy is the most mysterious transaction that the human soul can have, and it's accessible to all of us. but we have to give ourselves the opportunity to identify, to purge ourselves in a story where we see the world from the bottom up or through another's eyes or heart. Empathy is mercy's twin sister. When we feel into the reality of someone else's suffering, we open up to the possibility of mercy. Mercy comes from the old merc, which means exchange. Mercy is the embodiment of compassion. It can feel easy or even natural to have compassion for people who have never harmed us personally. But mercy is having compassion for someone who has. Mercy requires that we give something of ourselves, which is symbolized by Miao Shan giving her arms and eyes to the king. It can feel like a great sacrifice to be so giving towards someone who has given us nothing but suffering. Sounds very much like Kuan Yin too. Here's where the magic comes in. The law of the universe is merciful. The more we give, the more we receive. When the king realized the profound act of mercy his daughter bestowed on him, Miao Shan transformed into her true manifestation as the thousand-armed Kuan Yin. Oh, there we go. As a reminder that giving is true receiving. When we refuse to release our anger towards someone, we're blocking the flow of the universe within us. We are not harming the person who harmed us by remaining angry. We are keeping ourselves from receiving the love and light that is already ours. It says, who can I give mercy to in this moment? So what comes to me with that, no wonder I felt Kuan Yin so strongly, all about forgiveness too. How can we forgive ourselves for being human or whatever it is? And how can we forgive others and look at this as an opportunity for change? Powerful, powerful week. So as things might look like they're falling apart, they're really coming together. Remember that. I continue to burn my candles for intentions and for healing. So many people have come to me and said, or called or texted me and said, pray for this one or that one. And so that's my way of keeping the energy going. Whenever I light the candles, it's the goddesses and the God, that spirit, putting the energy out for whatever your prayers are. So keep those prayers coming, or keep me informed of what those prayers are. Have a great week, and we're going to go into March.